There is, unfortunately, no escaping physics. Bound by the speed of light, even information must take its time to get birds going. And as we move farther into the void, that time grows until the distance becomes unspeakable.
Listeners, welcome back. I am Sergeant Axel West, and this is day 418 of the endless tour around the same snotball of a planet. But I have a surprise for you all. I got a caller. Not a message from the board, not a relay passed on by the commander. For those of you first-time listeners, the station gets briefings from the preservation. They ping updates or new orders or test results for the science team or whatever by station-to-station relays. It's faster than the network, which can sometimes take months, especially if it's coming from Earth. Anyway, that's how I've been getting your messages, listeners. The commander of the Musashi has an ongoing briefing every couple of weeks, and she passes on your lovely comments and questions. Oh, speaking of, Abigail, your picture of me in a spacesuit fixing I think it's an outer sensor, is amazing. So beautiful. You can see the gross yellow planet behind me. Or maybe that's the sun, and there are stars and a rainbow. And I love how you have Dr. Hines trying to hit me with a wrench while I'm doing it. That is just, so true to life. I'm going to throw it up on the monitor in the galley so I can look at it every day. Thank you so much. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, so I got a caller. Like I said, usually your questions are given to me by the commander, but this guy, Simmons, he got a hold of me on the network. He's on the Hypatia. They kind of do what we do, but they get to do it all over, like way, way far away, while we're here all the time. But yeah, Simmons, hi! I gotta say, it is amazing hearing a new voice. I mean, yeah, I listen to the commander once in a while and I have my crew, but they say the same things over and over. It was really nice to hear someone, like I said, new. And I would love to answer your questions. First, yeah, sharing space with people 24/7 is a challenge, even on a station this big with minimal crew. My advice to keep your weird levels less weird is to find an empty locker and hide in it. No, I'm joking. Anyway, in all seriousness, I think it's important to remember that others are going through the same thing you are going through. They're stressed and tired and annoyed that they keep seeing the same faces every day. And because of that, you all understand each other on a level that you're probably not going to get anywhere else ever. So, maybe see if your crew would be down with starting a group therapy or circle time. That sounded better in my head. But you get what I mean. It might be helpful to talk about stuff. Another great escape is books. Your vessel's rest and recovery program should have thousands of books downloaded for you to choose from. And may I recommend The Barbarian Alien Who Loved Me and My Silicone Heart by Charles Unsupervised. It's good. It slows down in the middle and there's an awkward thing with the battle robot maker's son, but it's great, I promise. As to your other question, yeah, I do find myself alone a lot. Or mostly alone. I mean, it's a big station. And even with all the space, it can feel very confining. Like the walls are closing in because no one but me is watching and they can get away with it. This is going to sound stupid, but the first time the science crew went down to the surface, I found myself unsupervised for the first time since before boot camp, and I was feeling a little, cooped up, claustrophobic. So, I grabbed a few bags of those freeze-dried potato things the preservation gives us and just wandered around in my underwear, all over the place. I wiped my hands on clean uniforms, I sprinkled crumbs across the captain's chair. I know, I said it was stupid, but I was feeling very rebellious at the time. Anyway, point is, I got lost. And to this day, I don't really know how. I turned a corner and suddenly didn't know where I was. I retraced my steps, but I was so turned around. It took me ages to get back to something familiar. It was like the station had shifted while I was on my little excursion. Changed around like a puzzle box. Dr. Ness found me in the conservatory talking to Japanese bloodgrass. So I understand. I get it. The weird levels go all wonky when there's nothing and no one around. And as for what I do about it, well, I started a space radio show. Is your crew really leaving you for weeks at a time? You have like a skeleton crew around, right? I mean, you said you were acting captain, so I would really love to hear more about your situation. And I would love to hear some of the ways that you cope that aren't binge eating and talking to plants. So when you get a chance, please call again. I'm not worried. Anyway. All right, listeners. That's all I have time for today. Be cool, be kind to people, and Simmons, good luck, friend. Same hat.
Unspeakable Distance is an actual play podcast of Communication Delay by Audio Quinn. A link to the game's itch.io page and credits for our players are available in the show notes linked to this episode. This podcast has been a production of the Library of Cursed Knowledge Podcast Network.